empty valid processes. So we are having three groups of different processes. So for example, the first one is the round processes open and close, and the second group is curly open and close processes, and this group is just the square open and close processes. We just need to check if it is valid. So for the first case, it is valid because it is just open and close, and the second one is valid. This one is not valid because this is a round open brackets, and the second one is a square closing brackets. Definitely, it is not a pair. So yeah, we're gonna just return true or false for such kind of input string. Also, definitely this kind of a process problem are gonna be solved by the stack. Yeah, now we're gonna define a stack, but in Java we're gonna use the queue interface to define the stack. So it's gonna be a character, and we're gonna define a stack. And here we're gonna use array and the queue. You can also use a linked list, but for efficiency, I think the queue array the queue will be more efficient compared with a linked list. So it's gonna be a character. Yeah, so we're gonna define and empty the queue as a stack. So here, this is the queue is just interface, and we're gonna use this stack because this interface array the queue has all the method of the stack. So currently, we can directly use this stack. Yeah. Now we're gonna check all characters inside the stack. So for any character, say inside the array, inside the string, we're gonna turn this string to an array because we're gonna use this method. So s dot to character array. Yeah, so this is a method. We're gonna turn the string to a character array. Yeah, directly we're gonna turn it to a character array, and then we're gonna check the character one by one. Now we're gonna check if stack dot is empty. Yeah, we're gonna check if it is not empty, and then we're gonna check if it is a pair. So if it is not empty, and here inside we're gonna use the stack dot pick. This method is just to pick the first element of the stack, but we will not use the pop or push. It is just pick. We just want to see it. Yeah. But for this character, we're gonna use a method. I'm gonna use a method. I'm gonna define this method later. So I'm gonna use asymmetry, this method. And inside, I'm gonna choose two characters. So this is gonna be the open processes, and the second one gonna be the closing processes. If it's matching, this means they're gonna be a pair. And if it is not empty, and if it is matching, I gonna just pick the first element of the stack and with the current character. So for example, if I pick the first element of the stack for the first example, it's gonna be the open, and then this character is gonna be a close. I'm gonna check if this is a pair. So if this is a pair, currently I'm pick this one. So this means I'm gonna pop it out of the stack. So stack dot pop. Otherwise, I'm gonna use push this element to the top of the stack. Yeah. Finally, I just need to have a return to check stack dot is empty. If it is empty, so this means it's gonna be true. Otherwise, it's gonna be false. For example, for this example, because inside of the stack it's gonna be this one. It is not empty, so it's gonna be a false. Yeah. Now, what is missing is we need to define this isMatching function, and this function is gonna be used only for my public inside of this class for my public method. So this means I just needed to define a private. I need to define a private Boolean function, and I will call it isMatching. And inside it's going to be two characters. So the first one I'm going to define it as open, and the second one I'm going to define it as close. Yeah. So finally, I need to give a return. So it's going to be something or something or something. Yeah. So this is going to be the final return. So yeah, the first one is that I need to tag is this open equal to the open. So it's going to be open, and close gonna equal to the close. Yeah. Then I just need to copy all those ones inside of my parentheses. So let me just copy and paste and make the alignment a little bit better. So this is going to be the open square closing. This is going to be the curly open and curly closing parentheses. Yeah. So basically, I think this kind of code is much more cleaner, because currently I directly use this method, which is called is matching, and inside I'm going to define it as a private method, private function. Now let me just run it to check if it works. Yeah, here is a typo. It's emp. Oh, how can I type? It's empty. Is empty. Yeah. Let me just copy the function. I did some typo issues. Yeah, now as you can see, it is all working. And the type complexity, because this is a stack, so the type complexity is ON and the space complexity is ON as well. Now let me just submit it to check if it works. As you can see, it passes for all testing cases and it's pretty fast. Thanks for watching. See you next time.